And we're back. Andy Knight of the Dalles Farmers Market is who's on the show today. And Andy, I want to talk to you a little bit about last year. You guys usually wrap up the market the end of October or so, like October 10th, I think this last year. And you had like a finale day.
We had a harvest festival.
Yeah, talk about that.
We had a pumpkin pie baking contest, which I didn't know pumpkin pie could be made so many ways.
Right.
But it can. And we had the horse and carriage, and we had some fun games and pumpkin painting. Wonderworks Museum came out, and it was freezing though.
It was a little cool.
Yeah,
but it was
really
October,
cool.
so
Yes.
you know.
But it was a really sweet way to close the year, and I think also a natural way to close the year. You have Harvest Festival.
Yeah. Was this the first year you guys did it?
Yeah.
Really? And is it going to be an annual event going forward? Great.
Yeah.
It looked like it was, well attended.
Yeah.
And definitely a lot of fun. Well, I want to talk a little bit, and I know you're not going to be an expert on this, but the problems with corporations providing our food, basically. Obviously, corporations need to make a profit. We all, go into business to make money, but at the same time, at what expense? And so, are you able to share with us and the viewers any insight on why corporate-driven food chain is not necessarily the best model?
I can, but when it comes to industrial farming, corporate farming, you have to realize too that those are families. Those are families trying to make a living, just like the small farmers. And in order for them to make money, they have to go that way. They have to go that route. And it's not really so much them as it is the laws and the rules that they have to follow. And so they're kind of pushed into doing things differently and not thinking on so much of a local scale, but more of a global scale.
Right.
Which it has its place. It definitely has its place. But the bottom line to me is if you want something to change, you have to start locally, and you have to spend your money locally, and you have to vote.
You have to vote.
You have to vote, and you got to pay attention. I think, and maybe it's just because I'm in the food world, but it seems like there's so much stuff going on in the food world right now, and it kind of is hard for me not to pay attention. But I guess the only thing that I really can say on that is, try to pay attention to what's going on and really look for an answer.
Right.
The only thing that our dollars tell the government what we want.
Very good point. And there are a couple of documentaries out, or docu-movies,
right,
that are pretty high profile that have, shown some of these mass production farms.
Right.
And it was really, I watched some of them and saw two in particular, and saw, the farmers aren't necessarily excited about this either,
No.
but they understand, they're sort of a product of their own, I don't want to say product of their own existence, but they're doing what they have to, and in order to be able to stay
afloat.
Well, yeah, afloat. But I think you make a really good point with saying, it starts with our dollars locally and our government watching where those dollars are going. If they're being spent locally, there's going to be hopefully more of an importance on that. What do you think are the biggest differences between some of the big farms and some of the local farms that you work with on a regular basis?
A lot of the big farms are, 1,000 acres, maybe more. There's a lot of land that they're covering. A lot of the small farms, maybe they have an acre of vegetables. They're very family orientated. I don't think there's a farm that isn't, but I haven't actually stepped foot onto a big farm. I've been on the small farms that I work with the Dalles Farmers Market, But
what do you think about this almost stigma of, if you're going to buy it at a local, a farmer's market, it is going to be more expensive. And yes, I would love to support my local community. I'd love to keep the dollars here. But the reality is I can go to XYZ chain store and buy the same thing, which I think is a key point in this, but buy what they feel is, organic. And it may be cheaper, but that's it.
The word organic is becoming just this drop word. And I've been questioning myself these days, what does that really mean? I mean, there's the obvious things like the pesticides. But, we have local farmers that are pesticide free, but they're not organic. There's a lot of hoops they have to jump through and a lot of money they have to pay out to be organic.
Right.
So a lot of these companies that are organic and are in the stores, well, they're big farms too. I just think that once again it comes down to you have control of what goes on in your community by how you spend your money. You keep control of it. And if you're buying organic from the farmers market, because the Dalles Farmers Market has organic and non-organic. If you go and you're purchasing more just organic, and we see a raise in organic, the farmers want to make you happy. So they're going to start doing that, or they're going to go pesticide free, which I think a lot of people misunderstand that you can buy pesticide free as well. They may be going to the store thinking, well, I don't want pesticides. I hear those are really bad. I don't want those. So I'm going to buy organic. But there's
trade-offs there too.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what do you think it would be, or maybe what are you guys doing to help change that mindset to really put the value on buying local and going to these farmers markets and really taking advantage of the offerings that are there?
We work with a couple different groups, Gorge Grown, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Sure.
And we do have a local extension of the Dalles Gorge Grown that we work with, and we just are really trying to educate on grants and like no budget. So it's hard. It's hard to educate people to understand that they're really not spending more. It's hard for people to wrap their mind around that. They're like, well, this is my budget. But I myself, if I can't get it in organic, I'll get it in some other way. I just spend what I can, and I find what's most important to me and my family. And
so maybe you can't completely redo your whole shopping list,
right,
but you could take some key things and implement what you can get from the farmers market
right
into that shopping list,
right,
and make a trade-off in that way.
And farmers markets are seasonal.
True.
So
right.
Maybe you want fresher produce because it's going to last at least 10 days longer in your fridge. So you want fresher produce. I'm willing to spend $1 more for fresher produce that I know isn't going to go bad.
Yeah,
because I've just saved myself that $5.
Exactly. How many times do you buy things because you intend to use it? Things change. You end up going out for fast food or something, and it ends up sitting in the fridge and rotting.
Yeah.
With a little bit of buffer time there, it already could make a difference in your budget.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't even realize. I got a bag of Zion Farms lettuce on the last market, and I had that bag of lettuce, and it was good to go for a month.
Yeah?
It was perfect. I pulled it out. It was crispy. I made my son sandwiches with it. It was amazing. I was like, okay, this is worth every penny.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say shelf life, but it has a shelf life.
It does.
So, well, it's been really good talking to you. We're out of time, and I would just tell anybody that is thinking about this, they need to come down and seek you out at the farmers market. You're always there, right? So look for Andy at the Dalles Farmers Market and check it out for yourselves. And like Andy says, it's not necessarily more expensive. If you really think about it, it might actually save you money. So Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time on Localite. John Compton here saying thanks again for watching. And remember, if you've got a guest idea, let us know. Just visit localite.com.